Just recently, it was 23rd anniversary of PlayStation 2, and since it was one of my favorite consoles of all time, and PlayStation 2 also being one of the most successful consoles, I wanted to cover some of the hidden gems of PlayStation 2 era, or to put it simply, I was just searching for an excuse to play these games once again and share my nostalgia with you folks out there. I have a couple of rough hidden gems at the line waiting to introduce themselves, but my first guest will be Genji Dawn of the Samurai, that was launched back in 2005. More will soon to come, so if you also feel nostalgic, be sure to subscribe and follow for more. And also, if you have any recommendations of PlayStation 2 hidden gems, just share with me. As a big fan of Onimusha series, back in the day, I think I enjoyed Genji Dawn of the Samurai, and I guess I just played it right after I finished Onimusha 3 Demon Siege. To be honest, Genji Dawn of the Samurai is nowhere close to Onimusha 3. However, if you're into samurai period with hack and slash gameplay and the 12th century of Japan, you might really enjoy Genji Dawn of the Samurai. Oddly enough, it's also really short. My whole Genji experience took around 3 hours and 46 minutes to complete, with Yoshitsune and Benkei equipped with best-in-slot armors and weapons. The name Yoshitsune might seem familiar if you're into Persona or Shin Megami Tensei series. Yep, I'm talking about the same Yoshitsune here. Genji Dawn of the Samurai begins quite similar to Onimusha series, though it's roughly around 300 years before Sengoku period, and just like a Dragon Ishin, the Imperial Court of Kyoto is once again becomes our map. Genji's story is based on the tale of the Heike. It's an epic story about the struggle between the Taira clan and Minamoto clan for the control of Japan at the end of the 12th century in the Genpei War, though being told with Japanese fantasy elements. Again, similar to Onimusha series, our main character Yoshitsune has the unique ability to use Amagahane that is supposed to invoke the power of the gods. These godly powers are just slowing the time. Basically, if it's a JoJo reference, you slow down the time and the enemies around you start to make attacks, letting you to counterattack and one-hit them just by pressing the square button right on the correct time. I wouldn't call it like a parry mechanic, however this counterattack window is quite short, and then most of times you need to use 2 bars of Amagahane power to even make the flow of the time slower than it already is to counterattack at the right time. It is not mandatory to use this time slow mechanic, you may just dodge the enemy's attacks, wait for an opening and then do fast slicing attacks with Yoshitsune. However, I really advise you to use Amagahane's power, especially during the boss fights. What's interesting is that whenever you use this Amagahane and deal a critical counter attack to a boss, they can drop a crafting material that you can use to craft special weapons or an armor for your characters. It is in your best interest to gather these armors or weapons for a quick run. Well, you can also try to find better armor and weapons within any map while discovering. There are a couple of ways to make your character stronger, and one of the best and the easiest is to equip better armors.
兵士が争った戦いは兵士が勝利し、兵士こそ最強の武家であることを証明する。
Back to Genji's story and its world setting, our main character Minamoto Yoshitsune is basically like Samanosuke of Genji. Our father is killed by these Taira clan samurai and we find ourselves fighting against these demonic samurai to free Kyoto. We meet with this Tamayori Bito clan led by Kiichi Hogen and his daughter Minazuru, who are the guardians of the Amagahane. If you are interested in Japanese history here, these characters are actual figures from Japanese history, like this Kiichi Hogen, who looks like who's about to die in few seconds, was actually the leader of a civil war of Heian period. That happened in order to resolve a dispute about Japanese imperial succession, as well as Minamoto Yoshitsune himself was a military commander of the Minamoto clan of Japan during the late Heian period and early Kamakura periods. During the same Genpei War, Yoshitsune led series of battles in which his forces toppled the Taira clan, the very same clan that ravages Kyoto with its demonic army. Quite similar to how Onimusha handles the Sengoku period. As I mentioned before, Genji Dawn of the Samurai offers gameplay very similar to Onimusha titles, with a fixed camera angle and hack-and-slash gameplay style, with no Onimusha style puzzle solving or backtracking to open up the correct path. The only puzzle solving Genji offers is mostly doable by character switching and accessing to new areas or unlocking new treasure chests. Including Yoshitsune, we have one additional playable character, and that is Benkei with his huge pole, halberd-like weapon. Benkei offers slower but more robust gameplay than Yoshitsune, and my guess is that a lot of people will only play as Benkei to access new areas where Yoshitsune can't, discover hidden weapons and new equipment to become stronger. Other than that, I mostly played as Yoshitsune, completed the game as Yoshitsune, and spent my Amagahane essences on Yoshitsune to improve his attributes. His gameplay is generally more enjoyable, so to say, dodging quickly and then dealing damage in a swift way. Offered the gameplay that I just wanted to have. Nevertheless, there are no different weapon types for each character. Yoshitsune just uses dual blades, while Benkei fights with his poles or spears. However, keep in mind that even if you only want to play as Yoshitsune, be sure to craft weapons and armor for Benkei as well, as you will need to defeat some of the bosses with him to continue the story. The story is, I would say, quite decent, nothing too unique to surprise, but just unique in concept and design. I would say it has that Onimusha 2 vibes all over it. Yoshitsune tries to fight against this Taira clan. There are several bosses to defeat, temples to clean, and trials to pass to improve your godly powers. From the level design to story progression, Genji Dawn of the Samurai is quite linear. You will find yourself in Kyoto's Gojo streets, sometimes surrounded by sakura trees, or sometimes with Heishi samurai, and sometimes deep inside the temple of Oshu domain. However, I think Genji still offers quite varied maps, even though it took about 4 hours to complete. Nevertheless, the atmosphere and the visuals are good, better than probably most of PlayStation 2 games, I would say, and all of this Heian period Japan atmosphere is supported by traditional Japanese drums taiko and flute soundtracks that keep the oriental feeling going from the very first moment to the very last. The development team at Game Republic, founded by Yoshiki Okamoto after he left Capcom, really wanted to create their own Onimusha-like experience with Genji, I would say, and the PlayStation 2 title of the series does not fail to deliver that. Later on, Game Republic also brought some of the hidden gems to PlayStation 3, such as Folklore and Majin and the Forsaken Kingdom, before shutting down the production. And well, Genji's PlayStation 3 sequel didn't seem to offer a better experience when it was released a year later. I haven't played Genji Days of the Blade yet. Be sure to let me know if I should and make a video about it too.
ちらも本気でやらせてもらうと。
Genji Dawn of the Samurai is short yet fun hidden gem of PlayStation 2 that would especially satisfy if you are into Onimusha series or just looking for a linear single-player hack-and-slash game. I might continue covering PlayStation 2 titles for a while just to satisfy my nostalgia hunger, and the next PlayStation 2 title will be a rough hidden gem that needs to be remembered as well. As always, thanks for watching today's video. Be sure to subscribe for more and don't forget to share your PlayStation 2 hidden gems with me.